Do you ever get excited to get into your fridge and pick out those vegetables that you got from the farmer's market or your favorite gourmet grocer, only to find out that the veggies have wilted or gone bad?
It only takes a couple of days for that to happen, but we can get a couple of more days out of these vegetables.
First of all, you have to realize that once you buy organic or something from the farmer's market that's not treated with pesticides, those tend to have a shorter lifespan.
What I like to do for these vegetables also is cook them as soon as you get them. They will last a little bit longer in your fridge already cooked than if you leave them raw.
So in this video, we're going to talk about ways how you can store 5 must-have spring vegetables that we talked about in our most recent video.
First one we're going to go through is asparagus. You can get this anywhere, but how do you make it last longer? I like to clip it about 2 inches from the bottom.
Are you doing this right after you get them?
Right after I get them. Then I'm gonna store them like in a deli container. If you know me already, you know that I love deli containers. I might just put a little bit of water and just stand them up, just like this. The reason I like doing that is because it's gonna stay fresher, keep the asparagus moist at the bottom, but also the most beautiful part about the asparagus is not gonna snap or break. Sometimes we're in a rush, we have a busy fridge, we just throw things in our drawers, and guess what happens? A beautiful asparagus looks like this and tastes good, but it's not so beautiful anymore.
Do you do this with regular asparagus too?
Any asparagus, if you go to your grocery store, normally they sell the asparagus facing up. That's the same way you want to keep it in your fridge. And if you think about it, it might take up less space standing up than laying down. But you want to cook them 1 or 2 days after you buy them, fresher and taste better.
Now let's go on to our second veggie.
English peas, they come in the shell, beautiful like this, in a plastic bag usually, and it takes up a lot of space. What I like to do as soon as I get the English peas is open them up, take them out, and then just put them again in a smaller deli container. It's gonna take up less space and it looks nicer in your fridge. But also wanna cook this 1 or 2 days after you shell them because it'll taste better. And also, if you cook them, it will last a few days longer than if you leave them fresh in your kitchen.
Okay, let's talk about fava beans.
Same way as peas, they're just a little bit bigger to store. You shell them and you put them in a container. Again, you wanna be able to cook them that day or the day after. Put them in a deli container, seal it with a lid, and throw it in the fridge. It will last a little bit longer. Another thing you can do while you're storing them in the deli container is put a moist paper towel right over it so the skin still keeps fresh and doesn't shrivel up just a little bit. But you want to cook them 1 or 2 days after so they do last a little bit longer. But all these vegetables, I'm telling you, they don't taste the same a week later as they do if you cook them that day or the next day. The next vegetable we're going to be talking about is rhubarb. How do we store it? Cut it in half, wrap it up in a moist paper towel, and put it in the fridge. And you want to look at it every day or two to make sure that it's not drying out and the ends are not changing colors on you. If you know what you're buying, you buy the right amount, not too much, not too little, but you want to plan on cooking something a couple of days after you buy it. What we like to do is we have an idea of what we want to cook this weekend or during the week, and that's exactly what we go by.
And finally, let's talk about the morels.
We're gonna lay them out in a clear sheet pan. Pick them individually. And then we're gonna put them in a moist paper towel and just put it over and put them in your fridge. You don't wanna play around with them. You don't wanna throw them all together because they can break. The tops can break and they can be sticking to one another, and you want to avoid that because they do have a lot of moisture. Spread them out, dry them up. Those, please cook them as soon as you can. You can cook them and put them back in the fridge. That way you have them for a few days.
How would you cook them?
I would saute them with a little bit of butter, some shallots, and some thyme. You can actually add a little bit of water, put a lid on it, steam them a little bit. Then when they're steamed, you take the lid out. So you want to evaporate that beautiful mushroom liquid again into the mushroom. Then you put them in a deli container in your fridge, and then you have morels for a couple of days.
I hope those tips gives you an idea of how to store them for maximum use.
Also, if you have any questions on how to cook them or what to do with them, let us know too.
Until the next time,
we'll see you in the next video.
See, I wouldn't know that.